Sports Center, made possible by Isso and F.O.A. I'm Khaliba, and today we have an amazing yet very talented guest on board for you. Minul Doluweera on the show with me. So hey Minul, to start with, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. So currently I am a medical student in second year of study in the Colombo medical faculty. I used to be a royalist, but they say once a royalist, always a royalist. My main sport was chess actually. So since I was young, maybe around 9 years of age, I've been playing chess actively. And I think I hit my peak when I was around 17. That's when I won the national championship. And yes, so that is how it was in chess. And in addition, I've had a lot of interests in other fields as well. I was a debater, I did drama, public speaking, and I've been very interested in track and road track, currently I'm a road track as well. So yes, that is me in a nutshell.
So this is Jenga. Do you know how to play Jenga?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so you may be good at sports, but I'm good at Jenga.
Okay.
So it's gonna be really embarrassing after I lose, but still, I'm gonna make the first move.
Alright.
So Minul, how did you know that you're passionate about this specific sport? Since when?
I started playing chess when I was really young, around 3 years old, because my father taught me. And I played a lot of chess with my brother, my elder brother, and my father as well. And since I was young, I've been very competitive, and I just loved beating other people. So that was when I first got a passion for the game. And then when I entered school, I started playing for my school, and then started getting into the national circuit as well. So yes, mainly because of my father's teaching and the competitiveness of the game.
That's so cool. What is the greatest achievement that you made in life?
If I get this correct, that's gonna be my greatest achievement. Okay, no. Perfect. That is my greatest achievement. No, but about chess, right? So, like I said, I probably hit my peak when I was 17. That's when I won the national championship, and I got into the national team for the first time.
Really?
Yes. So in that year, I think I hit. We have a rating system in chess as well. I hit my peak rating when I was 17 as well, and I ranked #1 in the country. So that was my greatest achievement. But then since then I've been in the national team almost continuously. So in 2018 I was a member of the team that went for the Olympiad. So that's like the main world event in chess. It's somewhat like an equivalent of the Olympics. So that was in 2018. In 2020 I became national second, and I got to play in a lot of tournaments like the online Olympiad. I played for it twice for the national team. And we had the Asian Nations Championship. I was fortunate enough to captain that event as well. Similarly, I've been playing age group level events since I was very small, since I was around 9. I've been going for national, world youth, Asian youth, and so on. That was mainly in my personal career. Those are the main achievements. And because of my achievements, I was nominated as the most outstanding sportsman in the Milo Colors event. That's the Sri Lanka Schools Colors events. So I think that was a highlight as well. And I was the vice captain. And when I was the captain of Royal College, we managed to become second in national schools, and we won the other two major events, the Sri Lanka Schools and a tournament organized by us called the Battle of the Kings. So that sums up my school career as well. Yeah.
Wow. I'm so proud of you. For real. Speaking about your school, you're a royalist.
Yeah.
And do you think that you are given all the support that you deserve by your school or whatever organization that you're linked with, and your family and close friends?
Definitely. I mean, I got more support than I deserve, to be honest, because my family is the main reason I started chess and I continued chess. for example, there was one time in 2018, I mentioned the Olympiad, right?
Yeah.
So that was perhaps the most important tournament that I've ever played in my life. But that was just an year before my A-levels in bioscience. So I was having a tough time deciding whether or not to play that tournament, because if I played, the practice schedule was very hectic, and I'd be losing maybe a month or 2 months entirely from my studies. So I didn't think I was capable. I thought it would be very hard to manage. But then my parents believed in me more than I did, and I was able to get into the Colombo faculty as well. So I think that's a very good example of where my parents have been so supportive. And even my grandmother. So when I was small, my parents were very busy because they're doctors, and when I was really small, they couldn't send me for tournaments alone. So wherever I went, my grandmother had to accompany me. So my grandmother often had to just stand and wait for hours until I came back from my games. So she put in a lot of commitment too, and even my brother. So when I played chess at home, which was a lot of my practice, I played with him, and because he was my elder brother, I always went to him for advice in the sport and beyond the sport as well.
Is he good at chess as well?
Yes, he is good. So my brother played chess as well, and he's also been in the national circuit. He also has won national awards for his playing as well. So I was very fortunate that way to have a good mentor at home itself.
Yeah.
Yes. And my school was very supportive. They always, it's important to get recognized as well, I think, for achievements. And the school always, they recognize my achievements. And sending me for tournaments, giving all the financial support and everything. A lot of that was provided by school as well. So yes, I got a lot of support there. Yes, sure.
So Minul, the previous generation setting the bar so high, they were very talented chess players. For an example, Magnus Carlsen, Vishwanathan Anand, they're the best chess players. How do you cope with it mentally? Because it's very hard to be the best.
So, to be honest, they've been more of an inspiration to us than any sort of hurdle. So, in fact, people like Magnus Carlsen, they're in a whole new league, and we're always striving to try to become them. We study their games. A lot of chess practice is actually just going through what the experts have done and trying to understand what they've done, try to get that thinking pattern into our head. So in fact, they are like our instructors. So that is how the practice in chess actually works. Unlike other sports, where in swimming, I assume most people, it's mainly about practicing and doing it over and over. For chess, it's a bit different. So yes, you do need the practice of playing, but it's also important to just study those experts. So I'm actually very fortunate to be in an era where you have players like Magnus Carlsen, who are in fact very legendary. So
at the same time, we got Sri Lanka specific questions as well. So players are given a hard time by the government with the prices of basic equipments skyrocketed and opportunities restricted. And how do you cope with this? Because you are in the peak of your youth, and it's really hard for some people. Maybe some are fortunate enough, but some aren't. How do you feel about this?
In fact, so until the recent economic crisis, it wasn't much of a problem, because even through COVID, chess is a sport that thrived. I think while other sports suffered, chess got more, their player base expanded. We got a lot more opportunities because chess is a sport that can be played competitively online. So even through the economic crisis, we do have tournaments that happen online because the cost is much less as well. So that is, in fact, I think chess is the most fortunate of all sports in considering that. So though most sports just became stagnant for the last maybe 3 years in Sri Lanka, chess didn't have much of an issue in that sense. And our chess federation, I really have to appreciate for everything that they do, because our chess federation president, Mr. Lakshman Surya, was a chess player himself. And he played in the 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s, and there weren't a lot of opportunities for chess players back then. And I have to commend him because it was maybe his life goal to give the opportunities that he never had to the future generations. And because of that, since he became president and since he was an active member, we've been having more and more opportunities. And because of that, chess in Sri Lanka has actually been continuously going up. So even if the government is not at, like the sports ministry, for example, is not at the best position to help us, the chess federation does fundraising on their own. They somehow manage, and because of that, because we had a good leadership in the organizers, we were
That is correct.
really fit.
Actually, we need good leadership. Also, Minul, you can have your chance, and also, who is your inspiration throughout this journey? You're gonna lose this big time. I should ask more questions, then you focus on the question, not the game.
Not the game, no, the game is a good distraction.
You slowly keep it in that side, so I'll have to put it in the middle, so I'll lose. You can keep it there.
I can.
And then you were tricking me. No, you can't keep it there. You can keep it in the middle.
Keep it in the middle.
Oh my god, you're smart. Okay.
Yeah.
And also, who's your inspiration throughout the journey?
Right.
And
But in chess, the most successful players, I would say, aren't those who know the most theory also. It's often the people who have the most mental grit, and because chess is a very mentally torturous game. It's very hard. You have to keep your cool throughout the game, and it's very even painful sometimes because the opportunities are vast. You don't know where your opponent would hit you from. So often when I want inspiration there, I even turn towards other sportsmen. For example, there are swimmers and cricketers in our school itself who are just known and reputed for their grit. My friends, and even other famous sportsmen like Muhammad Ali, who are just famed for their grit. So yes, we derive motivation even from them. Yeah.
And also, I'm a big fan of Queen's Gambit. I wonder how your mind works.
How a chess player's mind works. Good question. Even I don't know.
Yeah, it's really interesting how people know the next move. I mean, you never know. But
it's like math, I would say. It's very much like pattern recognition. So if you've seen a lot of patterns, you can sort of see, okay, in this kind of position, this is the most possible likely outcome. And there's a lot of understanding your opponent as well, because for example, something chess players do is before the game, they would deeply study their opponent's style.
So you know your opponent before?
Yes, we are informed of our opponent, so we can go through their previous games and we try and understand whether he's an attacking player, whether he's a defensive player, and we have to tailor our approach according to that. So you have to study. So yes, you have to sort of predict a lot of things even before the first move is played. I think a lot of the beauty in chess comes there. Even
That's
before
cool.
the
I didn't know that. Sorry, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And for all the people who are watching this, and especially young adults who are waiting for their time to continue their journey, what do you got to say to them?
Right. So the right time for any sport, I would say, is when you have a passion for the sport. When I was young, my goal wasn't to win tournaments or collect medals. It was to produce a game that I would be proud of. A game that, even years later when I just look through, I say, wow, did I play a game like that? That was my goal back then. It was just to produce art over 64 squares. So, and those were my best days. Those were my strongest days. I was always looking forward to a chess tournament. I didn't want to live beyond that game. So those are the days where you can perform the most, where you give your 100%. So if you are in that time period, then do not waste it. Try to get the full opportunity out of it. So if you want the right time, the time is when you have that passion. And passion is something that you can create. So even if you don't have that drive yet, then start creating it. Start, practicing and start winning tournaments. And once you start winning, it's like, you push the first domino, it keeps falling. It's the same effect. Once you start winning one tournament, you get the kick, you get the high, and then you start, practicing, and it keeps on happening. So yes, that is I think the best advice that I could give our viewers.
Actually, I'm motivated by that. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you for
Thank you
having me.
so much for coming. And wrapping it all up, a massive shout out to Isso for being our venue partner, and a huge shout out to F.O.A as well for being our gift partner. And we'll be giving you this small gift from F.O.A. And I will come with another exciting and fun episode again. Stay tuned. Until then, see ya.
Let you get a taste. Yeah. Taste. Do you love the taste? Yeah, that's cool.
Let them tell.